Are we allowed to talk about the movie yet?
Yes, now you can talk about the movie.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Lugcast.
So, we ended up with a movie called movie/documentary. I'm still unsure. Called Catfish from 2010, and I'm guessing this is where the term originated from. Because at the end of the movie, a guy starts talking about how they used to ship cod from the U.S. to China in these big vats, and when the cod finally got to China on the tanker, it was real flavorless and mushy. So they would put catfish in the tanks with the cod, and they would nip at the fins of the cod and keep them agile, and then somehow this kept the fish tasting good. I don't know how that works, but so he was using catfish as a metaphor for somebody that is always nipping up your fins, keeping you agile and on your toes and stuff like that. So that's why this movie is called Catfish. I'm guessing this came before the term, because what we realize is a catfish now, like basically what would you call a catfish? Like somebody you're talking to online or something that misrepresents
somebody that puts bait
themselves.
in front of you and draws you in.
They
A
have
romance scammer.
Yeah, they have a picture from 20 years ago, or a picture that's not even them, or something like that, and yeah, they lure you in.
Yeah, misrepresents themselves. I think.
Yeah, misrepresents themselves. So
yeah.
So that's the core of this movie, is that, and we're going to spoil. You can't help but spoil it. Talking about it, is that this
movie embraces my interactions on the internet for 30 years.
Catfishing people.
Everybody is a liar.
Yes. So it starts out with three guys. Two are filmmakers. One's a photographer. The photographer posts. This is in 2010. So Facebook is huge back then, and he posts all his photographs. And he specializes in photographing dancers, and things like that. And he's been in newspapers and stuff. And he got this follower. Was it the little girl that was his follower at first, or
So
was it the mom?
I think it was initially was Abby. Abby
Yeah.
was a little girl, and this woman was claiming that the little girl was making these pictures. So she would draw and paint. Yeah, she would make these paintings off of people's like photographs and stuff. Now, did she initially start? It's the beginning part where I'm kind of fuzzy as how they initially like hooked up.
She sent him a picture or a painting of one of his pictures of the guy holding the woman up in the air. Mm-hmm. So she sent him her painting of that picture and said she really liked the picture. Supposedly Abby, the daughter, which is an 8-year-old girl. So that's how he first came in contact with him. And through this contact, he found out that Abby is like this really gifted artist for her age and does all these paintings and drawings. And then he got in contact with her mother, and her mother was this really cool lady. And then the Abby's older sister, Megan, I think is her name. And she was 19, and this dude is in his early 20s. So they kind of had a love connection, and all this stuff is just happening through Facebook. And
How did he meet up with Megan or connect with Megan? Was he just started following her on Facebook, and then they somehow started talking on the phone?
So I think Abby was the first connection, and then Angela.
Abby and Abby's mom, because Abby's mom is the one who's Angela, who's sending the pictures to her.
So Angela friended the Neve was his name through Facebook because of Abby. And then Megan friended Neve through Angela because she was her daughter. So they all kind of had all these connections through this family. And Neve started talking to Abby on the phone, because he thought she was a great painter. Then he started talking to Angela, the mother, on the phone because he thought she just had this wonderful family. And then she started talking to Megan because she was close to his age, and they kind of had a love connection. And she was this beautiful woman on Facebook and had all these pictures of herself. She was a photographer, a musician, and stuff. And she supposedly wrote all these songs for him and all this other stuff. And slowly it starts to break down about half an hour into the movie. I think, don't they start with the songs first of all?
Yeah. They start with
the songs.
Yeah, where she asked him, or he asked her about if she can like write a song or like record a song for him, and she comes back with like a few minutes later with songs, and one of them doesn't play right, or the file wasn't able to play right, so he just searched for the song online and found the exact same song, but played by somebody else. And
it was like on YouTube or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so then this is kind of the crack in the veneer of the relationship, because he realizes at first they say, well, maybe she just covered it and you know, it sounds similar, but it might not. But then they go some other songs she supposedly wrote, and they find those too online from different artists.
Yep.
So I think now they get the idea that there's some lying going on, but they haven't put together the pieces yet that who Megan really is and Abby and all that. And so it kind of goes on like that, where the lies start to unfold, and they realize that they've been had, not quite to the extent that they are going to find out when they travel there, but they know that something's not right. So they decide to make a trip to, where do they live? In Michigan?
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, and so they flew to Chicago for a shoot, and they decided to drive to this little town in Michigan because now they have the address, because it's on the return address from the packages that they've been sent. And supposedly Megan, the older daughter, has a horse farm that she works at or volunteers at or something. So
I think she owns.
Oh, does she own it?
Yeah, she's supposed to own it.
And she lied about that part as well, though.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. This is all lies. He's just saying that's what she said.
I like it when they go to the horse farm and
that's at night.
In the letters that he sent to her at the horse farm were in the mailbox as return to sender.
Yeah, with the postcards and all that stuff. So before they even get to the house, they stop by the horse farm in the middle of the night. They find the letters that he sent. They're all returned to sender. So nobody even came to check the mail. So that horse farm has nothing to do with the family now, they realize. So they also know that Angela has said they have an early Sunday breakfast where the whole family comes, and they decide to crash the breakfast. So they drive into town in the morning, and first they see this building that used to be an old JCPenney that Angela, the mom, had told them her daughter Abby had bought the building with the proceeds from the pictures that she had painted, and it had become her own personal gallery for this little 8-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. And before they even flew to Illinois, they found the building on Google Maps and saw it was empty. Not only was it empty, but it was either for lease or for sale. And they called the realtor, and the realtor said, yeah, nobody's been there for like 3 years. So they knew that the gallery story was fake. So when they're in Illinois, they drive by the building, and it's completely empty. There's no gallery to be had there.
And I think it's still Michigan, but yeah.
Yeah, in Michigan. Okay, you're right, Michigan. And so now they're on the way to Angela's house. I think they brought flowers and orange juice for their breakfast and stuff like that.
He picked some flowers on the side of the road.
Yeah, and this is going to be the big unveiling. So
right.
She has no idea they're coming, and they end up going there, and Angela answers the door, and it looks nothing like this painting that her daughter supposedly painted of her. And the reality of the situation is pretty grim, because when they go in, there is a little girl there, Abby, playing with her friend, but Abby doesn't paint. She says her mom paints. And there's also 2 twin boys who are Angela's stepsons. Is that right?
Yep.
From getting married.
The husband Vincent from our previous marriage, yeah.
Yeah, and they're severely disabled. They have to be fed through a tube in their stomach and stuff like that. And Angela is, I guess I should say, much more overweight than the painting that was presented to them, and she just looks kind of like your average housefrau mom, and nothing really special about her. And
this guy, this savage over here, just
well, I don't know what to
destroying
say.
the poor woman.
I mean,
goodness
she's
me.
ugly, all right?
Yeah,
she's an uggo.
She
fell off
she
the
lied.
She fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Yeah. So they do actually go to a horse farm at one point, I think, or some kind of corral or something.
Abby was taking like riding lessons or something. One of those things where they just kind of go around in a circle.
Now I gotta ask you this because I don't know if we're gonna go back. Are we gonna go back over any more of this?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Sure. No, if you want to, you can say whatever you want. Yeah, jump in.
I think Scotty should just read his synopsis in the show notes.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
At this point, let's let him take it over.
Yeah, go ahead, Scotty.
There were a couple of challenging areas in the movie. One, when you find out that the grown man, Nev, has this wonderful, inappropriate relationship with an 8-year-old online.
But is it?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't say anything to her that would be sexual or anything like that.
Okay, let's stop and think about it for just a second. Grown man making phone calls to an 8-year-old.
I get that. I get your point.
You know, and not only that, messaging her and
It is a little
asking
bit
for
weird.
things online. Now, supposedly she's doing all of the communications through her mother,
Right.
but he still manages to communicate with her directly, or so we believe. So that's the first thing that automatically stood out to me about this movie, that this grown man is happily having a relationship with an 8-year-old online.
Platonic.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's one way of putting it.
Now, if I was Abby's dad, I would say, hell no, you're not talking to this grown man.
Yeah.
But the way I understood it is he was just.
Well, he had no idea.
Yeah, he was astonished what a great painter he was, and he was flattered that she was painting his photographs and him and things like that. So.
Well, she told him early on that she was only 8 years old. That was part of the thing. Like he knew from the beginning.
Yeah.
Not only that, I just want to point out to me personally, this is a personal preference here, but I thought that Nev had a very punchable face, and he kept putting it in the camera like so close.
He was very much a New Yorker. I will say that.
Yeah, I just looking at his face the entire time, I was just constantly holding back from hitting the monitor. So, moving on here. Now, when the whole thing started happening and he's falling in love with this supposedly the older
Megan.
sister.
Yeah.
I immediately thought something was wrong there, right? Because obviously the title of the movie.
Obviously, it was going to be wrong.
Well, yeah, I knew
Right.
that too, because of the title of the movie.
How it played out, where it's like, okay, we've discovered she's lying to us. What do we do
crap.
next?
Everybody
fly.
online lies.
Right, but what do we do when we find out that they lie? We fly to their house.
Because we all have
Not
disposable income.
everyone lies.
So that's your first thing that you do. You decide, let's go to their house and confront them personally with our friends. Like, how wrong could this?
Now you have to also remember that this is they started because of this relationship that they started with this girl is why they started the video in the first place.
Documentary, right?
This documentary in the first place. I'm sorry. So this is that's probably the reasons why they decided to go and confront her or figure out what's going on, because they want the whole point is to continue the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he wants to, because he wants to figure out if this woman actually exists and whether he can actually have a relationship with somebody, or whether he should be smart and just absolutely cut ties and run run for the hills.
I thought the same thing too, but see, at a certain point, when Nev first realized he was being lied to, and his terrible friend Henry, who was there giving him bad advice the entire time,
he was the instigator, the pot stirrer for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he wants to make a movie, man.
Yeah, he wants as much drama as possible.
Keep talking to her.
Nev kept telling him, "I don't want you directing every single aspect of my life. Just let me do what I want to do." And the guy's like, "Nope, we got to make the movie. All right,
Nope.
Your decisions suck. We're going to make the movie." Now, the great part about that I thought was just excellent and warmed my heart is when they finally went there and met Angela, and like the great shadow of disappointment washed over him. You could see that Nev wanted to die. So he got in the car with this complete stranger against the wishes of all his friends. And the entire time, I thought this was going to turn into a murder horror movie at that point.
The most cringeworthy moment was when they're both sitting in that room and Angela's sketching him.
Yeah.
And he says, "I want you to be Megan for a little bit and talk to me like Megan." And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can watch. It's so awkward that she had to pretend to be her daughter that was in love with him or whatever. And they pointed out that she was in love with him. Angela was in love with him.
How about this? This complete stranger shows up to your house unannounced, and you just let him be alone with your daughter. Your 8-year-old daughter.
That was great.
Who is in a bathing suit, a 2-piece bathing suit. Not only that, this guy's got a camera aimed at her, and she's sitting on the stairwell with her legs just spread wide open. I'm like, great, now I'm going to prison. This guy's taking up shots at an 8-year-old girl.
You're reading a little more into this than I think there is in the movie.
Look, bro,
they're really looking for a...
Not everything
wrong,
is about sex.
Not everything is about
You have to remind yourself of that every now and again.
No,
not everything is about sex.
Listen, I'm not saying this.
He's a stranger from the internet.
Yeah, and see,
Okay, now I wouldn't let a stranger from the internet into my house.
No, because we're not this lady. But think about the mental state of this lady, what she did throughout the whole movie. Do you think she's going to make great decisions when it comes to other aspects of her life? Anything? Probably not.
Here's the Indian no.
Yeah. The head bob.
Did you see Vincent?
Yes.
You understood where the kids came from after he talked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you see what I wrote in there about him?
I didn't.
Good old Vincent.
But Vincent was being lied to by Angela too the whole time. I mean,
he wouldn't know the difference.
And here's the thing that made it so bad. Now, she apparently was selling these paintings online to clients and making this massive living.
By the way, just for people that know, Vincent is the stepfather, so he's who she's married to. So
yes, and technically Abby's father too.
And they live together. Yeah.
So he believes his wife that she's selling these paintings, and that's a client that she's constantly talking to.
Right.
Nev. Now, there's no income for any of these conversations or anything.
No.
She's supposedly mailing these photos to this guy, getting paid for them all.
But not only that, but he's actually commissioning them from her. So he's asking her to paint these and paying her. So that's why her excuse why she's painting all these. That's what she tells Vincent, her husband.
And here's the kicker now. On top of that, when the stranger shows up to the house and he just takes your wife away, just along with 3 other guys.
Yeah, he's not the brightest.
Again, you heard him talk. He's not a very bright man.
No, and he said he thought this was fantastic for her. Because she's finally getting recognition for her art, and somebody wants to buy her paintings and stuff. And he said you can go down to Main Street or whatever and see 1,000 starving artists with Velvet Elvis paintings, but she is the one that's actually getting recognition having her paintings are being bought and all this stuff.
Sounds like this woman was just catfishing everybody.
She was.
Everybody.
But yeah, the look on Nev's face whenever they're sitting in that room and he asks her to be Megan, the girl that he fell in love with, and he's got to look at this 40-something-year-old body that is about to bust the chair she's sitting in while she's sketching them, and compare that to the beautiful 19-year-old skinny woman in the pictures on Facebook, and then you could see like his eyes are watering and stuff. You realize how hard he was played by this woman, and how did he not just fly into a rage? I have no idea, but I guess he felt such empathy or sympathy for her because why? I don't know, why?
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because he had given up on life after he first saw her. He just said, you know what?
He just wanted to die.
I've already spent all of my profit from the other shoot flying down here to see Angela, and this is who she turned out to be.
And this went on for like almost a year. I think he said 8 months or 8 or 9 months of communicating on Facebook before they even went out there. Yeah, all that
9
time.
months. Yeah.
And he had this online girlfriend, so he thought.
Now, another thing, a key thing. Did you guys notice that Nev had a tramp stamp?
What?
Yep.
No, I didn't see
Nev
it.
had
When he was in his
Nev had a
underwear in
tramp
the hotel
stamp.
room. Yep. Yeah, that was terrible.
What was it?
Nev is a hero amongst us.
What did you see what
it was
the
like
tattoo
some kind of line design or something like that. I tried not to look too long.
That's crazy. Why would
I put it in the notes.
I've
there
never
when
in
I
my
saw
life
it.
seen a man with a tramp stamp. That's insane. I mean, if you want to get one, fine. I've never seen it before.
That's how you know he was a hero. This
Guess
man
so.
was prepared for anything.
Yeah. He probably lost a bet or something.
Oh, he lost more than just one bet in his life with that documentary and everything going on.
Oh my God.
And not only that, the person that they were doing the co-location with in the beginning, that person I think knew that they were being catfished.
Really?
Notice how whenever they were recording, that person kept trying to cover their face the entire time while they were doing the recordings.
Well, I don't know if they knew they were being catfished, but they probably just didn't want to be filmed or part of the movie.
Well, I wouldn't want to be filmed either if I found out that my guy, my roommate or whatever you call him, is over here talking to an 8-year-old girl on the internet and
Or that he had a
filming
tramp
it.
stamp.
And he's got a tramp stamp. I mean, it's like, oh, oof, might want to start finding a new place to do work.
So the way it ends is, he gets it all out of her. She tells him and here's the thing. Even when he shows up and busts her for lying, she's still lying to him. She says she has cancer when they get there, and that her daughter is in
an alcoholic going to rehab.
Alcoholic, some farm for
Rehab.
alcoholics. Yeah,
and all this other stuff. Why are you still lying? You're already busted. There's no reason to keep. It's crazy. This lady is crazy, man.
What about the reveal? You remember the reveal?
Which
when
reveal?
the daughter was riding the horses?
Abby?
And when he finally said, okay, I'm really, really wanting to see, what's her name, Angela?
Megan?
Megan, yeah.
Oh.
He's like, and she revealed right then, she said, she's here. And the look on their faces. Oh my goodness. She looked like a serial killer, and he looked like he knew it at that time. He was like, oh God, what did I got myself into? And she's just sitting there looking completely deranged.
Yeah, she was Megan.
Didn't they say that there was a Megan, right? But she was never down at the ranch.
No. In fact,
Megan was a real
the
daughter.
Alcoholics.
Yeah, she was a real daughter, but
she was never an alcoholic.
No, well, I don't recall if she was a real alcoholic or not, but I know that she was real. But most of the photos were of Megan's friends.
all of the photos.
Well,
None of them are Megan.
The one who was Megan was actually a actress / photographer /
They lived
something.
in Washington, yeah.
I
With a
thought
family.
it was Washington or was
Yeah.
it Vancouver or
Oh,
something?
Or
yeah,
Vancouver,
right.
you're right, Vancouver. Yeah.
Yeah, the other ones were people in town. The other people who were supposed to be like friends and cousins and stuff were people in town.
Yeah, but they weren't. They weren't friends or cousins. They were just random people.
Right.
Like she even lied about that when she was already busted. She said, "Oh, this is my cousin. This is my friend."
But she went through the list of all the people that she was online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she broke out the setup. Did you see her setup? Yeah. That's why this was a tech movie. She's got multiple phones. She's sitting in front of her computer and everything. And I'm like, oh my God.
But does she ever actually say why she did all this?
You know why. Come on now.
What?
Living in that life.
That's kind of what I took away from it. Because didn't she say that she was, I mean, not that you can trust anything she says, but she said she had these dreams and aspirations. And
she's married to Herman Munster.
Herman Munster. But not only that, but she's stuck there because she has to take care of his children who are grown men, but they're so severely disabled that they need constant care, you know. So she never, according to her, she never got that opportunity. She said she was a dancer, which I seriously doubt. But she said that she never got to pursue her dream of dancing and all this other stuff, and it was just so much bullshit. But the real question is, what is your opinion as to the authenticity of this quote-unquote documentary?
Fake.
Do you think it's completely fake?
Not completely. I think there may be some real elements. Like the real people have been catfished, but I believe that them trying to pass this off like it was a real documentary, no.
Are you guys aware that this was turned into a long-running TV
series
show
on MTV? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure because you guys are talking like you didn't know that. Okay.
Plus, there's another movie that came out this year, I think, called Catfish.
So I'm kind of like, I don't know what to believe, to be honest. I think that.
Did you see the real picture of Nev at the end of the movie versus the Nev that played him?
Well, that was still him. That was him. He just had short hair. It was the same guy.
He didn't look very much like this. It was the same guy?
Yeah, it was the same guy.
It's the same guy that was in the series the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I gotta look at it again.
The funny part that I read when Joe brought up the Wikipedia thing, so I looked that up, and it said when this premiered at Cannes or wherever originally, the maker of who's that guy that made that movie about eating McDonald's for a month and getting sick?
Super Size Me.
Yeah, that guy. He said,
shit, I can't remember his name. Yeah,
he went up to the
Spurlock.
Yeah,
Morgan Spurlock.
Spurlock. He went up to them and said, "This is the greatest fake documentary I've ever seen," and they were adamant, the filmmakers, that it wasn't fake. But I have my doubts because there are so many things that happen that just happen to play out in a way to make it more dramatic. So many signs early on that the shit was not real. Like what I'm talking about is that the old Catfish was actually a catfish, and Angela and all that, setting them up. So maybe
but
it was
2010, right?
2010
that it came out. So that means it would have been filmed before that. And if they had 50 to 100 hours of film, like film in the process, I could see where you'd capture this many great moments.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but it just seems contrived, a lot of it, to me. That maybe there's somewhere in the middle, you know, that's partly true and partly manufactured. I don't know, but I don't buy it that it's completely off the cuff and this is just the way things happen. The way, you know, maybe some clever editing, something, but I don't know.
I don't believe it either.
But, you know, I believe it's worth a watch. I mean, even though that term has been used to death, and just to see where it originated.
Fargo says it's based on real events, and it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that part when
And by the way, this isn't a dramatization. This is presented as an actual documentary. Making that clear.
Remember the part at the farm when they arrived that night and they were just looking inside the barn? The first thing I thought was, how was no one shot?
Well, I don't know if anybody lived there. Anybody live there?
Yeah, because think about it. The letters were returned to sender. Somebody had to put them back in there.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's an actual house there.
They're white.
Oh, okay, wait. Okay, yeah, there you go.
I don't know if there's an actual house there. I mean, I saw the barn and stuff.
It's not Ohio or Florida. That's not a stand your ground state.
But I would give it a thumbs up. You know, it's interesting for sure. It was very awkward to watch at some moments, especially during the like talking with Angela and stuff. She just seemed like such a psychopath, you know, like
head for the fucking hills.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like there's one thing about, like you said, everybody lies on the internet, but this wasn't just a simple lie. This was an extreme example of creating not only these fake profiles
9
and stuff,
identities.
Yeah, but like changing her voice to seem like her younger daughter, and then telling Nev how much she loved him and wants to be. It's just stuff like that is just insane to me.